I'll ask you the tough questions, put you on the hot seat, and
All
hopefully
right.
we'll help some folks here today.
Cool. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Hey, what's up, everyone? This is Trent Dressel from Course Careers. Today I'm speaking with Dre. His background is putting me to shame. 40 years old, broke into tech sales, talks about it, went through Course Careers. Let's get started. Dre, let's get right to it. What was the biggest challenge you experienced when you decided that you wanted to get into tech sales? How did you go from point A to point B?
Well, the biggest challenge that I had was at the time that I was breaking into tech, I was working two full-time jobs. Right. My wife was in nursing school. We have two boys that we're taking care of, and so I had to get to it, right? So I was working I would work 8 to 5 Monday through Friday at one job, and then I worked 4 10-hour shifts overnight throughout the week for another job. And when I wasn't doing that, I was doing DoorDash on the side, right? So I was just trying to get to it. So my transition into tech came at a time where it was like, all right, I got to do something different, right? And so when I signed up for Course Careers, my 15-year-old son, my oldest son, was sitting there with me when I did it, and I told him, I said, I'm going to get this done. My goal was to get it done in 2 weeks, but working that kind of schedule, it was like kind of impossible. So it took me about 4 weeks to get it done. So yeah, that's pretty much what it was. Overcoming, just making sure I could get it done in a short time frame, as short a time frame as possible.
Well, I'm sure your son's quite proud of you because you said you're going to get the job done. You got the job done. Now you're pushing it each and every day, trying to master your craft. Why did you decide that you wanted to get into tech sales?
Well, as I was doing those two full-time jobs, like you said at the beginning, I'm 40 years old. I'm not like most people who younger coming into the game trying to figure out what they were doing. I was at a place where it was like something has to change in my life right now, right? And I was so frustrated in life. I would just like kind of lash out internally, with my emotions, my spirituality, because I felt like I was at a place where I should be better off in life at this point in time. Right, 40 years old, I'm not where I want to be. Relationship with my wife is not going as well because I don't feel as good about myself as a man internally. So anything that she says to me that is a complaint, I wouldn't say a complaint or concern of hers, rather than me hearing her from a place of love, I always would, what's the word I'm looking for? I would kind of put my feelings on her and I was projecting, is what I would say. And so I would hear it from a place of attack at me, right? Rather than an attack on the situation and let's get it together to figure things out. And so at that time, I remember asking a group of people around me, like, what are some things that I do well? I believe that we all have superpowers, super abilities that nobody else brings to the table. And so I called these people and asked them what are some things I do well and kind of wrote them down. And me and my wife, we talked about it, we prayed about it, and just asked if the gifts that I had could be something that would make a way for me to be able to make money. And I kid you not, a week later, I was at my second job and I had YouTube on a loop, and I came across the video with AO and Cyrus. And I heard about Course Careers and everything, man, and it changed everything. Like, it was the first time I had felt hope since the pandemic had started. And so I told my wife, this is what I'm going to do. All those things on that list that my friends had told me I do well, it all aligned with what I do now as an SDR. So it was like an answer to prayer.
It's really great to hear, Dre. It takes a lot of courage and self-awareness to get to that place and to use that frustration as a motivating force to change your life and your family's life for the better. Talk about, once you discovered Course Careers from AO and Cyrus, they do a great job, and I know they add so much value to the community. Once you came across Course Careers, what did your process look like to then decide, okay, I'm going to purchase this course. I'm really going to tell my son I'm going to get the job done. How did that process go once you got into Course Careers?
Yeah, well, originally when I first saw what they were talking about, on there, Cyrus talks about being an SE with a different program. And so I wanted to do that because that fit my skill set also. But that program was just far out of my reach financially at the time. right?
An
And
SE solution engineer, correct?
yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Keep going.
And
Sorry to
so-
interrupt. I just want to make
No,
sure
you're
anyone
good, you're
listening
good.
knows.
So after that, I'm in the algorithms now. So everything I'm feeding myself through YouTube is tech, right? And so he did another video with a young man who went through both that thing and Course Careers, but he finished Course Careers in 2 weeks and got a job making $100,000 in 2 weeks, and he was like 19 years old. And so, me being competitor that I am, I was like, nah, there's no way I'm out here working 80+ hours a week making what I'm making, and this dude's 19 and out here making $100,000 after a 2-week program, right? And so I was like, I'm taking the shot. The shooters shoot, and you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So I found the money. It was like, let's get it done.
Yeah, and once you started in the course, what was your experience, and then how did it ultimately help you get the job?
Well, if I'm being honest, when I first started the course, I hadn't done anything that looked like school for almost 20 years. Right? So what I did was I knew if I immersed myself in the content that I would eventually start to pick it up. So if my life became Course Careers everything. If I was in the car, my car was Course Careers University on wheels, right? If I had my headphones, I was listening to your content, and if I didn't get something, I just go back and listen to it again. When I wasn't listening to Course Careers, I was following you, I was following other people who had graduated Course Careers, and I was just soaking up game, and I was immersing myself into the world of being an SDR to the point to where I felt like this is who I am now. Not this is what I'm trying to get into. This is who I am, and this is what I do. And once I took on the identity of I am a SDR, that's when things just started to change for me in my process.
So important to believe you're already there before you have it. And I think people just feel that confidence. It just exudes off of you. You mentioned you originally got exposed to Course Careers, and you really pulled the decision when you're like, hey, how is this guy making $100,000 whatever after 2 weeks? And it's like, well, hey, if he can do it, I can do it. Let's give it a shot. How long did it take from the time you started Course Careers to the time you eventually landed the position you're at today?
Altogether, the process was about 3 months. It took me 4 weeks to finish Course Careers, and then I started my search for a job. But I was still working 2 full-time jobs at the time, and about a month into that, my main job laid me off. We our entire, they came to us and was like, hey, this isn't a performance thing. We're just getting rid of the entire portion of the company. And so they just laid us off. And once they did that, it put me in a position where my frame was, I said, all right, my new job is to find a job. And so from 8 in the morning to 5 o'clock at night, just like every day, I would get on my laptop or my computer, and I start doing the work of an SDR to find the job that I wanted. And it ended up being the biggest blessing in disguise, because once I had that time, I was able to, instead of just easy applying to every SDR job, I was able to focus in on 10 that I really liked, and then really, really pursue those and kind of focus in on what I wanted to do.
What steps did you take with those top 10 on your list? You mentioned not just quick applying and crossing your fingers and hoping. What specific steps did you take? And then how did you eventually get the job? How many interviews did you do? Like, just walk us through that process.
Okay, so through the whole process, I think I had 4 interviews. 2 of them were people who found me. I don't know if they found me through the Course Careers program or if they found me through just LinkedIn. And then 2 were people that I reached out to myself. But what I did was I put them all in a cadence, just like we talk about in the course. I had a full Excel sheet, just like the one that you do in the course. I put the companies on there that I wanted to speak to. And then I would reach out to them. I started to do a little bit differently. I saw another guy who had graduated. He did a video where he said he stopped easy applying for everything. And what he did was he went to the website and put in the application. So this is what I started to do. I go to the website, I put in the application. Then I would go back to LinkedIn, and I would find the VPs, the recruiters, anybody who was in a position that could hire me. And I would connect with them on LinkedIn. And then I sent them all a short message that said, and I got this from Javon Blue, so I don't want to take his
Shout out Javon.
Shout out Javon. But I told him, I said, hi, I'm Dre. I just applied for the position on the company website. I can't wait to dominate with you guys this year. Who do I need to speak to make sure my resume gets in the right hands? Best Andre.
It's powerful.
And I sent that to them, and nobody responded back to me through LinkedIn, but I started to get emails. And the person who actually recruited me to the job that I have now, she let me know later on. She was like, hey, that little message that you sent me, that set you apart from everybody else. She said it was short, it was direct, it was confident, but it wasn't arrogant. And that's what we were looking for. And that's what got you the interview. So shout out to Javon, because that really helped.
Well, there you go. Anyone listening right now, make note of that. Write it down. And if that strategy seems like it fits your personality, clearly it's worked for two folks, and it may work for you as well. How has your life changed, Ray, now that you're on the other side and you have broken into tech? I'm not sure if you're still doing the other job and now this and side stuff. Like, how has your life changed going from all these different things to now hopefully at a company that you see yourself at for a while?
Man, my life is different. The job itself is amazing. The company I work for is super, super dope, man. They allow me to genuinely be myself, right? And so what I bring to the table was something that they were looking for. And I asked them that in the interview. I asked one of the questions I asked the hiring manager was, what is something on the team that you see missing right now that you're trying to fill with a new hire? And it was my personality, what I brought to the table, right? So I come to work every day and I'm me. That's one thing that I love about it. Two, I don't work 80 hours a week no more. I make more. I make more from this one job than I was making with those two jobs combined before, right? And I have a whole lot more of my time back. I'm able to be creative because I started a YouTube channel when I started my process of breaking into tech. So the day I signed up for CourseCareers, I started a channel just to kind of follow along with what we do. And then from there, we end up taking that, and the YouTube started to blow up. I started to get a little bit more traction there. Then on top of that, CourseCareers made me a CourseCareers coach, right? So I'm on the site now. I'm able to teach and help other people grow in what they're trying to do, which is like my main passion in life, right? So remember that list of things that I said my friends had told me about? It was a list of 10 things. 8 of them were things I'm doing right now that bring in some sort of income, and some come from my job, some come from coaching, and some come from just being creative on YouTube. And so when I say that I feel like I'm operating in my purpose now, what I was put here for, right? Rather than before I was working to provide and to take care of the family and just try to, keep the monkey off our back, as they say, right? And I feel like I went from being on defense to being on offense with this transition into tech.
Attacking life to win. And for those listening that also want to be winning and speak with Dre, click the first link in the description below. Sign up for CourseCareers, free intro course, 90 minutes of content. But if you get in there, you can speak with Dre, coach, learn from someone who's actually done it.
Yeah, man, I'm having a blast with the coaching, man. I do a free Monday night session for people. It's only limited to 25 people, and it's people who are either in CourseCareers or people who I've met who just hear me talk about tech and just like, what is this about? So it's kind of like an intro into what this is and what the mind frame is behind it all, and how to get through it.
What are some of the conversations like in those weekly meetings with the folks who join? Because I'm sure it's a lot of folks who are newer in the process that are trying to figure it out, that are in that stage like you were in of listening to the content in the car, going through the adversity. What are some of those conversations like? Because I imagine a lot of folks that are listening are probably going through similar challenges.
Yeah, my conversation is always geared around mind frame. I believe the XYZs and the ABCs of it all is easy to overcome once you decided mentally that you're going to get through it, right? And so a lot of times what we'll talk about on there is like, what is people's why? Why are you doing this? You hear that saying all the time, but someone once told me that why stands for what hurts you. And so to really dig into, well, why are you doing this? And then ask yourself that question at a deeper level. So if the first question is, I just want something to change. Okay, then why is that important? And then go into why that's important. And then once they give that answer, go a level deeper. Why is that important? And one of my mentors in life told me, he said, if your why doesn't make you cry, it's probably not deep enough. And so once we get to the point to where we understand what we're really, really doing this for, I know that's like a breakthrough for people mentally. And then when it comes to just doing whatever the step-by-step, day-by-day thing is to get it done, it just becomes like the next thing to do rather than becoming a big obstacle. It becomes the next point on the day to get it done. So we talk a lot about mind frame and being able to go in from there.
What did the course with CourseCareers, the tech sales course, what did it teach you?
It taught me everything I needed to know about how to do the job as an SDR specifically. I've got sales background in my past, but it was different. It's a completely different world, right? In my last job, I was full sales cycle from prospecting all the way to closing, and then it was even a executive over those accounts afterwards. And so when I came in here, I had to unlearn some things and relearn some things, right? And what CourseCareers mostly gave me was the verbiage I needed to know to break into tech, how to do prospecting through the different softwares that we use. That helped me tremendously. And just how to be able to carry that conversation with someone who was hiring me for the job, right? So when they would call and I ask questions like, well, what's the ICP, or who was the buyer persona? That was setting me apart from people who didn't know those terms, right? And so I would say the biggest thing was learning how to do the job specifically. What I love about that with CourseCareers, with Tech Sales program, is it's going to teach you exactly what to do on the job. By the time I went through my training with my company, it was pretty much just review of what I had been going through with CourseCareers, and then just learning particularly their product. And so it kind of set me apart from everybody else that was coming to the door.
Do you think you would have been able to land a tech sales job without CourseCareers?
No, not at all. Not at all. I tried. I tried to just use the fact that I had sales experience to break in. But CourseCareers also taught me, another big thing was, they taught me how big LinkedIn was, right? And so building my LinkedIn page and then making that presentable to where I look like a SDR, not an aspiring SDR, someone who wants to be an SDR. Like, my LinkedIn page looks like this is what I do, right? And CourseCareers taught me how to do that, and then how to have that conversation so that when I do sit with someone who wants to know what an SDR does or where I'll fit, I'm able to have that fluid conversation like it's just something I've been naturally doing for years. And I didn't hear anything about this company or this field until beginning of this year. It's amazing to think about where I am now compared to where I was in January.
What does your day in the life look like today?
Oh man, so I wake up. I wake up about 7:30. Depends on if I got a son that plays football and they doing Saturday. I'm summer practices right now, so sometimes I'm up at 6:15 to take them to practice. But I wake up. I get on my computer at about 8 o'clock. Start to prospecting, and I love it because it's not somebody watching over my shoulder all the time, right? My manager is super lenient. We'll have like maybe a 15-minute meeting every day, but I just get to prospect. I have my day broken down. I prospect new accounts for 2 hours. Then from there, I'm putting them into my cadence, and then at 10 o'clock my time, I start to go through the cadence. Right, so whether it's sending emails or LinkedIn's or making phone calls, but making sure I'm getting my activity up at the end of the day. But it's so laid back of a job and a position. Like right now, when I get off with you, I may decide to, go sit at the pool and with my laptop and make a couple of calls. Right, there's so much freedom to be able to do what I need to do as far as life goes. My particular company, they're very big on work-life balance. And so, like they'll tell you, hey, if you feel like you just don't got it right now, go take a 15-minute walk. Get away for a second. Go to the store, do something else, come back, finish what you need to do later on, right? So the freedom of what we do, what we have has been so much, it made my day-to-day so much easier. right? So on my lunch break, I can go work out. When I was working 80 hours a week, I could never go to the gym. I love going to the gym, right? So on my lunch break, I can go work out. After work, I go work out again. I'm 40 years old. It takes a lot more to get back into the tip-top shape than it did when I was 24. So I'm out here getting to it, man, making sure that summertime I'm gonna look better than my 15-year-old son, right?
You'll get him outside running some routes.
Right,
You'll moss him back there. Say, hey,
right.
you got to go practice, son.
Right. I still got to keep up with him, man. So it's great, man. The day-to-day is good. I get off work, and I just have time to spend with my family. Like, for most people, that's just normal. For me, that was something I had lost. I missed so many birthdays. I missed so many different things because I was working so hard to do what I was doing, trying to catch up, that now it feels like I got all this time, and I really don't know what to do with sometimes. So I just go create some content, or I just spend the day with my sons and my wife, right? And just enjoy the fruits of my labor. And when my paycheck comes in, it's more than what I was going and killing myself to get, which is crazy to me. So I'm in a great space.
You mentioned when you started Course Careers, you began to document your journey on YouTube. So talk about your journey with content creation. How did the idea of pursuing this tech sales career, how did that motivate you and inspire you to start creating content, to start sharing your journey? And then talk about what has that been like, beginning to put yourself out there, getting attention, views, trying to make money online, all of that. Just talk about your journey with that, because I know a lot of folks watch the AOs, the Cyruses of the world, and they say, man, that's so cool. I want to do something similar. So how has your experience been with the content?
It's great, man. I'm a creative person at heart anyway. Like, someone asked me the other day, they were like, what motivates you? I said, just creating stuff that's fly. Like, I just love to take something that didn't exist, make something that I find amazing, and then sharing it with people. Like, I've done music in the past. I've always done art. Like, I do fashion. Like, I'm an outgoing artistic person to begin with. And so when this started, I had two very good friends of mine who we had been talking about trying to do something different. We were all in a similar boat. And so when I brought up doing tech, I knew that I would be the first one to go do it. And so I started a YouTube channel just so they could have something that could follow along. They could follow along with if they ever decide they wanted to do it. And the day I made my first video, all my creative juices started flowing. And so it was like, man, this is great. Let's make a logo. I made the logo. Make a tagline. How do you do that? So all my mind frame of branding and all that stuff just started coming to mind. And editing videos, like, that stuff is fun to me, right? So when I got into creating the content, it unlocked a part of my life that I hadn't been able to touch for a while because I was so busy doing other things. And so now when I'm creating, I turn this microphone on, I turn these lights on. It's like I go into performance mode, right? And so I even keep these on when I'm working at my job, because it makes me feel like I'm in my creative artist mode, right? So it's been fun, man. And then on top of that, with the CourseCareers affiliate program and the way that it's given me a voice within the tech space, right? People that come to me for coaching have often said, hey, I was looking into tech, but when I saw your video, I saw somebody I could relate to, and you were super transparent with your story. So I wanted to, I felt like I could do what you had done, right? And so that's what gives me the most joy, is being able to help people and using art to be able to do it.
What's the name of your channel, and where can people find you?
My channel is Cut the Tech. All right. So that was Cut the Tech. Not cut the check, cut the tech. That's my motto. Is I'm going over here to the tech field to see if there's some money over there. I'm gonna come and tell y'all if it really is some money over there. And now that I found out there's some money over there, I'm gonna tell y'all, hey, go over there and tell these tech people, don't play me, pay me. Cut the tech. I need my money. So you can find me there, man. It's easy. YouTube.com/@CutTheTech. I'm on there.
Well, that's fantastic. Well, everyone, make sure to go subscribe to Cut the Tech. And also, if you're looking for your bag, if you're looking for the money, it's in the first link in the description below. I'm telling you, you can listen to Dre here, and it's out there. It's out there for the taking. So now's the time. Don't wait, and we'll see y'all there.
Yes, sir.